Hello guys, welcome to SBK Concept. Objective questions collection for sub-engineering and assistant sub-engineering examination. The radius of curvature of arc of bubble tube is generally kept 100 meter. In chain surveying, tie lines are provided primarily to avoid long offsets from chain line. Layman's rule of plane tabling is location of the instrument station is always distant from each of the three rays from the known points in proportion to their distances. If a 30-meter chain diverges through a perpendicular distance d from its correct alignment, the error in length is d square by 60 meter. Diopter is the power of lens having focal length of 100 centimeter. A bearing of a line is also known as true bearing. True meridians are generally preferred to magnetic meridians because these remain constant. Cross-staff survey is used to locate the boundaries of a field and to determine its area. Instrument used in cross-staff survey is chain, tape, arrows, and cross-staff. GPS survey is a technique of surveying which is latest and three-dimensional technique. Difference in length between arc and subtended chord on the Earth's surface for a distance of 18.5 km is 10 mm. Unit of plane angle is radian. Shrinkage factor is equal to shrunk length upon actual length. Plan is drawn on large scale. In chain surveying, data entry from bottom to top in upward direction. In level survey, data entry from top to bottom in downward direction. The length of revenue chain is 33 feet, having 16 links. Minimum number of ranging rod required in direct ranging is 3. Minimum number of ranging rod required in indirect ranging is 4. Length of chain shorter than standard length is positive cumulative error. Length of chain or tape longer than its standard length is negative cumulative error. Cumulative error is directly proportional to length of the line. Compensating error is directly proportional to square root of the length of line. Accidental error is proportional to square root of the number of observations taken. Seal coat is a layer of coarse sand and bitumen. In highway pavement, emulsions are mainly used in patching and maintenance operating. The appearance of mineral in reflected light is known as luster. Most valuable timber may be obtained from teak. The capacity of a telescope of producing sharp image is called definition. VPN means virtual private network. The only language which the computer understands is binary language. 1 mile is equal to 5,280 feet. Density of cement is 1440 kg per meter cube. Specific gravity of cement is 3.15. Strain resetters are used to measure linear strain. Size of ladder means height of the ladder. Crank bar is bent in 45 degree. Unit weight of bitumen is 1040 kg per meter cube. Generally, guardrail is provided if the height of filling exceeds 3 meter. For painting in lower door and window, generally multiplying factor is considered 1.50. Settling velocity depends on Depth of tank. The distance of soak pit should be at least 3 meters from septic tank. If 2-point load acts on the beam, the bending moment diagram will be trapezoidal. Generally, the diameter of orifice meter is 0.5 times the diameter of pipe. How does cohesive swell formed? Cohesive swells are formed due to chemical weathering. How does cohesionless swell is formed? Due to physical weathering. Plasticity index of cohesionless soil is 0. Plasticity index of cohesive soil is greater than 17. If plastic limit is greater than liquid limit, the plasticity index is reported to 0. Seepage velocity is always greater than discharge velocity. Unconfined compression test is only suitable for clay swell. The undersurface of earth is called soffit. The raft slab is projected beyond the outer walls of the structure by 30 to 45 cm. The portion of brick cut across the width is called batt. The concrete slump recommended for beams and slab is 30 to 125 mm. While designing a stair, the product of rise and going is approximately equal to 420. The maximum permissible deflection of a timber beam supporting a roof is L upon 360. The angular steps used for changing direction of the stairs are called winders. A projecting piece usually provided to support a truss is fridge. Brittleness of cold is due to an excess of phosphorus. Gneiss is obtained from sedimentary metamorphic rock. Sewer pipes are made of stoneware. Initial setting time of asbestos cement products should not less than 90 minutes. For filling cracks in masonry structures, the type of bitumen used is plastic bitumen. Vanadium steel is generally used for axles and springs. The lateral earth pressure on a retaining wall is proportional to the internal friction of soil. Total lateral earth pressure is proportional to square of depth of swell. Clay swell which doesn't swell when wet is from mite group. Coefficient of compressibility of soil is the ratio of strain to stress. The liquid limit and plastic limit exist in clay swells. Failure of stability of soil generally occurs along a curved surface. The locus of the instantaneous center of a moving rigid body is centroid. If the gravitational acceleration at any place is doubled, the weight of a body will be doubled. The product of mass and velocity of a moving body is called momentum. A satellite moves in its orbit around the Earth due to centripetal force. The length of a second's pendulum is 99.4 centimeter. Welding takes less time than riveting. The minimum number of rivets for the connection of a gusset plate is 2. A beam is said to be of uniform strength if bending stress is same throughout the beam. The maximum area of tension reinforcement in beams shall not exceed 4%. Cantilever retaining wall can be safely used for a height not more than 6 meter. When used in connection with the progress of a work, the term amount indicates total expenditure on a particular item. The strength of a soil is generally identified by ultimate shear test. The percentage of minimum reinforcement of the gross sectional area in slabs is 0.15%. The wooden block hinged on post outside a door is cleat. Cast iron piles are useful for heavy vertical loads. Elastomers can extend up to 10 times their original dimensions. The initial setting time of lime pozzolana is 120 minutes. Sandstone is a sedimentary rock. Head of Department of Urban Development and Building Construction is Director General. Intercepting trap is a trap with water seal at junction of house drain and public sewer. The structure used after the septic tank and before disposing to the sewer line and placed within the boundary of the owner is called gully trap. The method of incineration for the disposal of solid waste is hygienic method and need lesser space. The unit of electricity consumption in residential building is unit. Most power saving bulb today used is CFL bulb. The process of mixing appropriate constituent of brick is known as blending. Diagonal tension in beam decreases above neutral axis and increases below neutral axis. The stress function produced by the moving load on a structure is known as influence line. The slope of bending moment changes its sign when shear force is maximum. The space under the sloped roof, lit either by dormer windows, skylights, or by windows at gable wall, is termed as attic. The main consideration while orienting the building is sun. Environment, culture, and historicity are mainly building of vernacular architecture. Pitched and sloped roofs are suitable for covering large areas. Unity in design is called proximity. Architectural models are being constructed at much smaller scale. The art of creating two-dimensional image for animations showing the attributes of a proposed architectural design is architectural rendering. The repetition of visual movement of the elements like color, shape, lines, etc. is called rhythms. The primary colors are red, yellow, and blue. Bar chart is drawn for time versus activity. The main purpose of rate analysis is to find actual cost per unit items. The water immediately after downstream is tailwater. In an open channel, the analysis of surge is done by using energy equation. In an open channel, the flow takes place at the expense of hydraulic pressure. Water hammer is a phenomenon which occurs when pressure increases sudden closure of valve. Magnitude of water hammer depends on length of pipe. Actual velocity through orifice is less than theoretical velocity. Pitot tube is used to measure velocity of flow. From a nozzle exposed to atmosphere, the liquid jet traverses parabolic. Manning's formula is used for head loss due to friction in open channel. A siphon is an inverted U-shaped pipe. For laminar flow through circular pipe, total rate of flow is equals to 2 times the average velocity. Minimum head loss will occur in orifice meter. Mouthpiece are used to measure rate of flow. Orifice used for low discharge is triangular. Venturimeter is used to measure rate of flow. Rotameter is used for measuring discharge. The thickness of a sharp crested wire is kept less than one half of the height of water on the seal. The notch angle for maximum discharge over a triangular notch is 90 degree. With a clinging nape of a wire, the excess discharge is 25% to 30%. Width of the wire within contraction is less than width of the channel. An independent mass of fluid doesn't possess pressure energy. Ideal flow of liquid obeys continuity equation. Flow net can be drawn if the flow is distortion. Pressure in pipeline is more than atmospheric pressure. The profile of rising water on the upstream side of the dam is backwater curve. Backwater curve is caused if there is an obstruction due to wear in the channel. For cantilever beam, the span to effective depth ratio is restricted to 7. Rib slab is provided for acoustic insulation. In two-way slab, the lifting of corner occurs due to torsional movements on the slab. The main reason for placing of main bars at top in case of cantilever slab is tension at top. The length of straight portion of a bar beyond the end of the hook should be at least 4 times the diameter. The radius of the bar bent to form a hook should not be less than 2 times the diameter. A beam curved in plan is designed for bending moment, shear, and torsion. A doubly reinforced beam is economical as compared to singly reinforced beam because compressive steel is under stress. Doubly reinforced beam is used when depth and width of a beam is restricted. The minimum cover to the ties or spiral should not be less than 25 mm. Slender column is a long column. Allowable bending compressive strain in RCC is 0.002. Ultimate bending compressive strain in RCC is 0.0035. Tensile strength of concrete for RCC design is 0.1 FCK. Factor of safety for steel is based on its yield. Factor of safety of steel as compared to concrete is lower. Maximum bulking of sand generally occurs at a percentage moisture content of 4%. The center to center spacing of vertical stirrups in a rectangular beam is minimum near the supports. House connection and lateral sewers are generally made of reinforced cement concrete. Widely used water supply system in hilly areas of Nepal is gravity system. Trash rack headwork is built to raise the level of intake canal. Culverts have span up to 5 meters. OTA seal is provided in surface course. Taxes doesn't cover in the analyzed rate of public works. Number of contractor class in Nepal is 4. Prevailing public Procurement Act has been promulgated in 2064 BS. As per ICAO, minimum width of safety area for instrumental runways should be 300 meter. Garbage is not a rubbish, but it's a decomposable waste. Asphalt varnish is made by dissolving cooked mixture of a drying oil and resin. Maximum thickness of otasil is 32 mm. Maximum size of aggregate for otasil is 16 mm. If bending moment diagram is constant for an interval of a beam, then the corresponding shear force diagram is an inclined straight line. Darcy's law relates the rate of laminar flow in a saturated soil mass to hydraulic gradient. Designation of scale recommended by IS 1491-1959 is A to F. Offsets are small measurement from chain surveying. The type of cement is considered good if it contains C3S in large amount. The maximum shear stress always occurs at a fiber in the cross section depending on configuration. An aquicloud is a confined bed of impervious material between aquifer. In strainer type wells, the flow is radial. After entering the canal, sediments are removed by the silt ejector. The width of carriageway of 2-lanes road without raised curb is 7 meter. Minimum length of transition curve should be B square by R. Payment of steel is done by per metric ton. The design thickness of payment is decided on the load caused by main gears. Runway is decided on the basis of nose gear. The normal thickness of expansion joint in masonry walls must be more than 20 mm. The graduations in a prismatic compass are inverted and run clockwise having 0 degree at south. The accuracy of measurement in chain surveying doesn't depend upon general layouts of the chain line. Whole circle bearing is preferred to a quadrantal bearing because bearing is completely specified by an angle. In arches, stratified stones are placed so that their planes are radial. Mild steel is a ductile material. The quantity of water seeping through a soil is directly proportional to the total head loss. The top flow line in case of seepage flow through an earthen dam has the shape of parabola. Needle vibrator is generally used in concrete work. Undisturbed samples are obtained by thin wall samplers. A brick masonry may fail due to crossing due to overloading. Mass curve is used for determination of capacity of reservoir. Subbase course is provided not to improve capillary rise of this swell. Dimension is not found in specification. Generally preferred tender is schedule of rates. Float means latest allowable time minus earliest expected time. Granite is mainly composed of quartz, feldspar and mica. The fat lime swells 2 to 3 times of its original volume during slacking. Amount of gypsum usually added in the manufacture of cement is 1 to 3%. The rate of hydration and hydrolysis of cement depends upon its fineness. The shrinkage of concrete increases with increasing the percentage of concrete. Thickness of lamin board varies from 12 to 25 mm. Enamel paint is made by adding white lead in varnish. After the final grinding, the cement is shipped through IS ship number 9. Blast furnace slag cement develops low rate of hydration. The percentage water for making a cement paste of normal consistency varies from 25 to 35%. The resistance of an aggregate to wear is known as abrasion value. The maximum quantity of aggregate per 50 kg of cement should not exceed 450 kg. The permissible value of shear stress depends on percentage of steel as well as grade of concrete. Coating the surface of steel by thin layer of zinc is known as galvanizing. The total float for any activity along the critical path in CPM is 0. Camber prescribed for cement constituent high type bituminous road surface is 2 to 2.5%. Strength of wind is measured with the help of Beaufort scales. The slenderness ratio for masonry wall should not be more than 20. The width of land secured and preserved to the public for road purposes is called right of way. To measure discharge, constant pressure must be created in a flow field. HGL represents sum of pressure head and datum head. Camber in the road is provided for effective drainage. By over-reinforcing a beam, the moment of resistance can be increased not more than camber in the road is provided for 25%. Error due to bad ranging is cumulative positive. Economical saving of time results by crashing cheapest critical activity. The time corresponds to minimum total project cost is between normal time and crash time. Sum of independent float and tail slack is free float. The process of mixing clay water and other ingredients to make brick is known as kneading. Main ingredients of Portland cement are lime and silica. Percentage of carbon content in mild steel is less than 0.25. The differential settlement in case of foundation on sandy soils should not exceed 25 mm. Couple closed roof is suitable for maximum span of 4.5 meter. The temperature range in cement kiln is 1300 to 1500 degrees Celsius. In two-hinged earth, an increase in temperature induces maximum bending moment at crown. Approximate value of shrinkage strain in concrete is 0.0003. According to witness theory, ultimate strain of concrete is assumed to be 0.3%. If the angularity number of an aggregate is increased, then the workability of the concrete using this aggregate will decrease. Maximum permissible limit of magnesia content in OPC is 6%. The test most suitable for concrete of very low workability is VB test. In limit state of design, the limiting value of depth of neutral axis is 0.53 d. A channel section consists of one wave and one flange. The dead load doesn't change their position. Shear modulus of elasticity is known as modulus of rigidity. Bending stress may be developed in the case of lap joint. The benefit-cost ratio is inversely proportional to discount rate. As indirect cost of project increases, the profit of project decreases. Break-even analysis is the limited form of cost analysis. The discount rate that makes the net present value equal to 0 is known as internal rate of return. Maximum working hours for a labor per week is 48 hours. The number of members in dispute resolution committee is 3. The actual cost of supplementary and revised estimate is less than estimated cost. Evaluation of building is done based on plinth area rate method. The estimated quantity of cement required in cement mortar 1:6 per meter cube will be 5.4 bags. The neutral axis in a T-beam section falls within the flange or outside the flange. A foundation is said to be shallow if its depth is equal to its width or less than its width. Shear stress at center of a circular shaft under torsion is 0. Shear stress at the outermost fibers of a circular shaft under torsion is maximum. The error in measured length due to sag of chain or tape is positive error. When the measured length is less than actual length, the error is known as negative error. The arrangement of bricks similar to English bond is Dutch bond. The breaking up cohesion in a mass of concrete is called segregation. The continuous strain which the concrete undergoes due to application of external load is called creep. In lime concrete, lime is used as binding material. Low percentage of tricalcium silicate and dicalcium silicate in cement results in fast setting. The sum of percentage of tricalcium silicate and dicalcium silicate for Portland cement varies from 70 to 80%. The cement widely used in retaining wall is Lloyd cement. The neutral axis of balanced section is called critical neutral axis. When a RC structure is loaded, the resistance first broken is pure adhesive resistance. For reinforcing bar in compression, the average bond stress can be increased by 25%. The construction of chemical plant belongs to industrial construction. The first stage of large construction work is conception. The process of calculating the resource requirement of a project is known as resource aggregation. The thickness of 25 gauge sheet is less than 1 mm. Axonometric projection is a isometric projection. Wrought iron contains carbon up to 15%. In reciprocal leveling, the error which is not completely eliminated is due to refraction. The boundary of water of a still lake represents contour line. The floor area includes area of balcony up to 50%. The measurement is made for stonework in meter square in case of wall facing. When you want to make sure that all the text stays to right of a given point on the drawing, you would set its alignment. A rectangular beam carries a maximum bending moment of m. If the depth is doubled, its moment carrying capacity will be 4m. Dummy activity is an artificial activity. Awaiting the arrival of concrete material is dummy activity. Extension line is a part of dimension. The shape of bending moment diagram over the length of a beam having no external load is linear. An elastic prop is one which develops reaction proportional to the compression in itself. The arch meant for supporting UDL to avoid any bending moment must be parabolic. A statically indeterminate structure is one which cannot be analyzed using equation of static alone. Mass curve in road project is used to show cumulative cut and fill. Weight of 1 cubic meter of sand is 1600 kg. 1600 kg. Amount of money deposited along with the submission of tender is known as performance bond. In project selection, minimum benefit cost ratio should be equal to 1. According to law of demand, if the price of goods increases, then the demand of articles decreases. Project is good if internal rate of return is greater than discount rate. The main objective of sensitivity analysis of a project is to examine the uncertainty. Provision for Professional Code of Engineers in Nepal is made in detail in NEC rules. Any non-Nepali engineers desiring to work in Nepal may apply for registration under Category C. True meridian passes through true north and true south. The color of minerals in its powder form is called streak. Gypsum is added in cement to increase its initial setting time. The strength of cement concrete depends on water-cement ratio. The material which dries quickly is polish. Chemical plastics are compound of carbon. To impart color to plastics, the pigment added is zinc oxide. Annual rent is generally fixed at 5% to 10% of volume of building. The standard width of asbestos cement corrugated sheet is 1.05 meter. Workability of concrete can be improved by more cement. A reinforced concrete beam is assumed to be made of heterogeneous material. Lightweight concretes are used for non-load bearing walls. Durability of cement concrete generally improves by addition of cement. The longitudinal shearing stress acting on the surface between steel and concrete is called bond stress. The main purpose of leader line is to connect node with the feature. In case of diametric projection, two sides are equally inclined. Concept drawing is normally provided for the work of tender. Amount of money payable to a beneficiary at regular intervals for a prescribed period of time out of a fund reserved for the purpose is annuity. A review of management process and the associated documentation is commonly called audit. In the process of selecting public project, the criteria usually adopted are economic and financial evaluation. Mostly used risk analysis technique in engineering economics is Monte Carlo simulation. Costs which are independent of output and no alteration by the change in production level are called fixed cost. Using benefit cost ratio analysis, the projection is said to be feasible if C by B is less than 1. The Nepal Engineering Association (NEA) was established in 2024 BS. The minimum qualification and experience required for the registration of foreign engineers is Bachelor in Engineering and 10 years of experience. Nepal Engineering Council is an autonomous body formed under NEC Act in 2055 BS. The presence of tricalcium silicate in cement hydrates the cement rapidly. The sum of percentage of all deleterious materials in the aggregate shall not exceed 5%. Insufficient quantity of water makes this concrete mix harsh. Water content ratio is generally expressed in liters of water required per bag of cement. Water cement ratio. The construction work costing above 1 lakh are classified as project. The conception of idea for any construction work is the responsibility of owner. Earliest method used for planning was bar chart. CPM requires single time estimate. A critical activity has zero float. The most powerful explosive used in blasting is gun cotton. Attrition test is used for determining rate of wear. The commonly used lime for works underwater or in damp situation is eminently hydraulic lime. The commonly used lime in whitewashing is fat lime. The rapid hardening Portland cement has a higher shrinkage coefficient. The expansion of Portland cement can be tested by soundness test. The shrinkage of ordinary concrete is about 0.3 to 0.6 mm per meter. Central part of tree called pith. Solvent used in cement paste is water. Stucco paints contain polyvinyl acetate. The function of aggregate in concrete is to serve as filler. Cement which has highest compressive strength after 3 days is high aluminous cement. Strength of concrete using air entraining cement gets reduced by 10 to 15%. Colocrete is a common type of colored cement. The resistance of an aggregate to compressive force is called crushing value. Value of fineness modulus for fine sand may range 2.2 to 2.6. For high degree of workability, the slump value should vary between 80 to 100 mm. Actual performance of task in CPM is called activity. CPM is activity oriented. PERT is event oriented. Estimate expected to be least accurate is plinth area estimate. Weight of 10 mm diameter mild steel rod per meter length is 0.62 kg. Sinking prop is the one which is provided below the level of regular supports and becomes effective after the respective deflection occurs. The vertical distance of the crown of the arch above the springing is called rise of the arch. During calculation of IRR, internal rate of return, NPV should be 0. Discounting is the process of finding the present value of a cash flow. The ratio of current assets to current liabilities is known as current ratio. Cutting plain lines is particular to section drawing. Construction line is thin and light. Main purpose of build drawing is maintenance service work. The main purpose of working drawing is to facilitate the construction at site. Dimension line is thin line and continuous at middle. Build drawing is normally constructed after construction. The locus of center of curvature is called evolute. Concept drawing is normally provided for the work of tender. Axonometric drawing is perpendicular to the plane. Set square is not used to draw horizontal lines. In a very density airport, characteristics load per landing gear in kilonewton is 400 kilonewton. Shape of landing direction indicator is T. For night landing, thresholds are lighted green. The height of pilot eye above the surface is 3 meters. Conical surface of the approach area rises outwards in 1 in 20. From the end of an instrumental runway, the approach surface rises outwards by 1 in 50. The amount of money paid to the contractor after the agreement and before the execution of work is mobilization. The maximum amount of mobilization should be 20% of the contract amount. Technique which is advanced and more indicative in modern construction progress review is earned value. The direct cost of a project with respect to normal time is minimum. Slack time refers to an event. A set of broad guidelines stipulated by management is policy. The maximum amount of approval of tender by gazetted third class officer is 3 crores. The owner gets the assurance of work progress and quality from engineer. Whenever color washing on AC corrugated sheets is done, in the estimation the plan area of sheets is increased by 20%. The brick absorb more heat than stone. Life of teak wood doors and window is 40 years. Minimum side lap required for asbestos cement sheets is 15 cm. The number of corrugation in asbestos cement sheet is 7. When it is not specified, the number of hold fast for a door is usually taken as 6. The thickness of slabs and beams must be measured to the nearest 0.005 meter. When not specified, the volume of steel in RCC work is taken as 0.6% to 1% of RCC volume. Number of standard modular bricks required to make 1 cubic meter of masonry is 500. Brick walls are measured in square meter if the thickness of wall is 10 cm. The quantity of lime required for 100 square meter whitewashing single coat is 10 kg. Full payment of contractor is done after maintenance. The chairman of Material Rate Fixation Committee in district is CDO, Chief District Officer. The main target of contractor is to earn more profit. Irrigation distributor canals are generally aligned along a straight line. For proportional outlet, the flexibility is 1. A fall in canal bed is generally provided if ground slope exceeds the design bed slope. The proportion of silt per unit volume by weight means silt charge. The bed of canal is lowered in case of canal siphon. Weirs designed and constructed on Blink's theory failed due to undermining of the subsoil. According to Lacies, the depth of scar in cone of right angle bend is 2D. An impervious wall inside an earthen dam to reduce seepage is core wall. The most suitable material for the central impervious core of a zoned embankment type dam is clay mixed with fine sand. Seepage through foundation in an earthen dam is controlled by providing impervious cutoff. Maximum failure of earthen dam occurs due to overtopping due to insufficient height. For economical design of a gravity dam, the shear friction factor should be 0.65. In a gravity dam, total force due to wave pressure acts at a height of 0.375 SW above still water level. Elementary profile dam is right angle triangle. Economic hand of dam corresponds to minimum cost of dam per unit of storage. The retaining wall in continuation of abutment both upstream and downstream is called flank wall or wing wall. Tortuosity of meandering river is always more than 1. Divide wall is provided to separate the undersluice from weir proper. The stone suitable for rubble masonry should be hard. Plastic bitumen is generally used for cracks filling. Stainless steel is made from nickel and chromium. Rubberization temperature is 180 degrees Celsius. The constituent responsible for setting of hydraulic lime under water is silica. Quality of lime is checked by ball test. Main constituent which is mainly responsible for hydraulicity is clay. The sports goods are made from mulberry. Strength of timber is maximum along parallel to the grain. Impregnating of timber is done to increase fire resistance of timber. Seasoning of timber is done for humidity drying. Swelling of brick means bloating. The solution of salts from the soil absorbed by the trees which becomes a viscous solution due to loss of moisture and action of carbon dioxide is cambium. Prime coat given to steel work is a mixture of linseed oil and red lead. Red lead is used as base, pigment as well as a dryer. Most durable varnish is oil varnish. Vehicle used in case of enamel paint is linseed oil. The image of the objective formed should lie in the plane of crosshairs. The surface of zero elevation around the earth which is slightly irregular and curved is geoid surface. An interfocusing type of telescope is focused by the movement of concave lens. If the temperature increases, sensitivity of bubble tube decreases. Leveling is done to make vertical axis truly vertical. The Philadelphia rod is a type of telescopic staff. In leveling across a hill, the levels should be set up on its top. Benchmarks are fixed by spirit leveling. Line of collimation should be parallel to bubble axis. Spire test is used in permanent adjustment of theodolite for adjustment of horizontal axis. The 2 and 3 point problems are method of orientation and resection. Boning rod is used for setting out of seaware. Toots development is generally provided in well. Abyssinian tube well is a special type of strainer tube well. Strainer type tube well are unsuitable for fine sand strata. Radius of influence of well varies with rate of pumping. The ratio of maximum hourly consumption and average hourly consumption of the maximum day is 2.7. Break pressure tank is generally provided in rural water schemes if static head exceeds 60 meter. The curve showing level of water in well and original water table is inverted cone of depression. Porosity is equals to specific yield plus specific retention. Turbidity depends on suspended and colloidal solids. Turbidity is measured on standard silica scale. A source of color in water is due to organic debris. True color of water is due to colloidal solids. Odor of water can be determined by osmoscope. Rotary pumps are suitable for small discharge. Priming is the process of removing the trapped air from pump. The distribution mains in water supply system are designed for maximum hourly demand on maximum consumption day. The ratio of maximum daily consumption to average demand is 1.8. pH value is measured by potentiometer. Lead in water causes plumbosolvency. Iron in water causes stains on clothes. Iron and manganese are estimated by calorimetric test. Alum increases acidity of water. Tuberculation is caused in a metal pipe due to sulfur-reducing bacteria. In presumptive test for B. coli culture medium is used lactose broth. B. coli test is conducted to serve as a very good indicator of pathogenic bacteria. Coverage of water supply in Nepal as per census 2011 is 85%. Main pipe must be designed to carry 3 times the average demand. Service pipe must be designed to carry 2 times the average demand. Water of zero hardness is obtained by base exchange process. Groundwater is free from suspended impurities. HGL should always 10 meter above ground level. The pressure at inlet and outlet in break pressure tank is 0 and 0. The velocity of water in water mains of 40 cm diameter is usually kept 1.8 meter per second. The commonly used material for water supply pipes having property of not easily corroded is cast iron. Grade aqueducts are not allowed to run full. Most commonly used section in grade aqueduct is rectangular. Poppet valve is a type of air valve. Pattern of sanitation most suitable for slopy area is zonal pattern. A circular section of seaware is preferred only up to a diameter of 30 cm. The shape of trunk and outfall type of seaware is usually horseshoe type. Flight sewer is provided when gradient is steep. Shear strength of cohesionless soil depends upon normal stress. In undrained plastic clay, shear strength is due to cohesion. Shear stress of a soil is unique function of effective stress only. The strength of soil is generally identified by Ultimate shear stress. Total stress in a swell means force per unit effective area. Shear stress acts parallel to failure plane. The tendency of dense sand to expand on application of shearing load is dilatancy. Normal stress acts perpendicular to failure plane. Westergaard theory is more appropriate for layered swell. The well in well foundation is filled with sand. Factor of safety of embankment shall be at least 1.5 meter. Bombs are used to increase factor of safety. Stability analysis shall be made considering effective stresses. In scant rainfall region, the camber provided is nil. If the path traveled along road surface is less than circumferential movement of wheel, then it is called slipping. The alignment of road should cross the series of hills through saddles. Extra width in road is not provided when the radius is more than 300 meter. In WBM road, binding material used is stone dust. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe our channel.